After coaching over 1,000 men over the last 7 years, I see a recurring problem that is preventing men from confidently interacting with women and landing dates. I was recently on a one-on-one coaching call with a client of mine, Matt, who's exactly like most of you guys watching this video.
I just want to find my person, man. Like you just turned 35, right? I'm 34, I'm turning 35 later this year. And so far, I haven't really met anybody that I wanted to be with or who I'm attracted to, who's attracted to me. Right now, I'm not generating enough leads. So right now, I'm kind of confused. Should I do more? Or is it just because my location really isn't conducive to any success?
So this is an average man with minimal success in his dating life, but also he just wasn't making any real attempt at going out and interacting with women. Now, I just took him from 0 social confidence, 0 approaches, and 0 dates in his current day-to-day life and transformed him into confidently approaching women and just recently landing his 3rd date over the last 4 weeks. Now, throughout this process, we were also tracking his daily and weekly actions that ultimately got him success. So I want to break down for you guys exactly where he was going wrong previously, the small tweaks we made to start getting him success and landing dates. But I also want to show you guys live infield footage of me going out and implementing this process for you, demonstrating exactly what needs to be done. So I'll be showing you guys 3 interactions that I did back to back to back. So without further ado, let's get into the first clip right now. Hey, excuse me. Hi. Could I just say really quickly, I thought you looked very cute and fashionable. Yeah. Now this interaction actually led to a 10-minute conversation where I end up walking with the girl, and then we also make plans to set up a date for the future, and then we exchange numbers. But before I break down all the technicalities around that interaction, we need to first look at the foundational piece of this whole thing, which is I just went up and said something to the woman. I just gave the compliment. I just went up and I said the thing. She was on the phone. She's about to cross the street. There was a lot of people around. There's all these reasons and excuses I could have used to not say anything, but I decided to at least say something. And this is where I see most clients struggling when they initially come into the program. And you're probably in a similar situation, because when I sit down with clients on the onboarding call, I assess what's going on in their day-to-day right now and how much opportunity they actually have and how much action they're taking. And most men, to simply put it, they're not taking anywhere near enough action, and they're making a lot of excuses. And honestly, this is exactly where Matt was a little bit over 4 weeks ago. I'll even show you guys the initial consultation call. This is before he ever joined the program. He was telling me that he lives in a small area. There's no women around. It's too cold out because it was February at the time. And so he wasn't taking any action at all.
Because of the winter, right now, I'm not generating enough leads. And even when I was generating some leads, it wasn't enough. There are very few young people, young single people, moving to this area. It's a pretty shitty area.
How much have you approached?
Not many, like maybe 1.
And one thing I noticed about Matt that was interesting was he actually came to the consultation call with numbers prepared. He was actually tracking his actions. And so when I looked at the numbers, you could even see on his progression chart at the time, he just simply wasn't taking enough action. And honestly, guys, I get it, because I was the same way a little over 10 years ago. I'm 35 years old now, but when I was in my mid-20s, my first girl left me for another man. I was at rock bottom socially. I could not go out and just approach. So I understand the struggle, but what I would say is most guys, they overcomplicate the process. When they're out in the field, they get really in their head. They don't have any sort of structure to this thing. They have bad negative self-talk. And so even though the opportunities are there, they literally end up talking themselves out of going up and making the approach. And so what I want to do for you guys is break this down so you have a very simple step-by-step structure that you can start moving through. And so on Matt's initial onboarding call with me, we reviewed the social confidence roadmap, breaking down the 5 different levels, as well as understanding how to generate lead flow in your day-to-day life. And then we picked out 2 to 3 locations where he could go out in his city to start practicing the first couple steps. Now, if you guys want to know more about my journey or this structure that I teach and how I could help you also build your confidence and achieve your dream dating life, click the link down below. You could check out the brand new in-depth training I put together where I cover all of this and a whole lot more. Now with Matt, and for most men, if you're not taking any action at all right now, I would recommend you just start out with level 1 on this chart. And as you can see, this is literally just saying something to women, even if it's in passing. So you can just start out by giving out a greeting or a compliment and practicing taking that first step on a daily basis. And you've probably even seen me demonstrate this on some videos on this channel, but even just something as simple as hello, hi, good morning, good afternoon, happy Monday, happy Sunday, how's it going? Have a great day, with a nice smile, talking loud, having really good eye contact, and making sure that you're doing this from a safe distance. This is a great first step that I encourage everybody to get out there and start doing. Hey, excuse me. Hi. Hey, excuse me. Hi. Hey, excuse me. Hi. And then you can see, once you get comfortable with that, we would then move into briefly stopping to give compliments or ask for directions, transitioning into displaying intent, having a very brief conversation there, then ejecting. Then you want to get better at extending the conversation into a 30-second or 1 to 2 minute interaction, and ultimately build up to a 3+ minute interaction where you could also make it man to woman and get a phone number and set up a date. And this is just one chart amongst many that I use with a lot of my clients when I'm coaching you step by step through this process. Now, if you can go out and just push yourself through all of these levels, awesome. I encourage you guys to start doing that in your day-to-day. Me personally, I was never able to make it past level 1 or even level 2 by myself. I watched all the content for 9 months in a row and made 0 approaches. So what I actually do with my clients is we book out live in-field coaching calls. So first we coach you on the specific level you're at. You then see the content of me going out and demonstrating that concept live. And then we have you on the in-field coaching calls with us so we can push you through the implementation and give you the coaching you need to actually get results with this. That way we can give you the coaching and the support and the push you need to quickly get you up to level 5, and that way you can start landing dates. So I would recommend that you try to go out and do this with a friend or a wing. That way you have some sort of accountability and leverage to take more action. Or if you want to work with me directly to accelerate this whole process and get real results, you can click the link down below and apply to actually work with me one-on-one. Now, once you can get past those first couple levels on this roadmap, you're then going to hit the next sticking point that most men struggle at, Matt included, which is having flirty, longer conversations. Now, back to that initial clip that I showed you earlier where I just complimented the woman on her outfit. I then decided to extend the interaction just by talking a little bit more, giving some personal input on the topic, switching topics, and then walking with her for a couple of minutes. And this also happened to be where Matt's next sticking point was too. So as you could see on Matt's progression chart, within 1 to 2 weeks, we had him taking a lot more action than he ever was previously, which is great because he was starting to build his social confidence. He was starting to destroy his approach anxiety. And now the next problem was extending these conversations to ultimately get phone numbers and dates. And that's exactly what we did. We started reviewing his conversation structure, comparing them to my infields. And as you can see on the chart, he started to finally hit longer interactions where he was actually getting phone numbers and dates. And honestly, guys, I wish it was all sunshine and rainbows from there on out. Like, I wish I could just proudly say from there he just started cruising and landing date after date after date after date. But the unfortunate reality of the situation, and just being fully transparent, is in the next week he actually encountered a new problem, the same problem which for most men would get them so frustrated and burnt out that they would end up quitting and giving up at that point. And I'll even show you guys the exact text message. Right now it's April 10th, if you can see. So this is literally on April 2nd. So just over a week ago, he went out on a normal session to go out and interact with a girl, but he ended up getting a really weird reaction from the woman. And he even posted about it into the community chat. I actually have a group chat with all the one-on-one clients where guys are sharing their wins and updates and giving encouragement. And he posted into there talking about the weird response that he got from the woman. And he even said, "I was shook after this. I couldn't do another interaction, couldn't display any more intent during the session. I barely even mustered up another intent approach and have a conversation. I guess this really did expose my fears." And you can see that that was legitimately posted right into the group chat. And honestly, guys, like, this was my initial fear too. So like, I really do understand. Like, I was in the exact same situation. I get what that's like. And this legitimately is the same reason that most men give up. See, they're on their own going about this journey. They end up getting a weird reaction from a girl, and that puts them really in their head because they don't have a support system. They don't have like-minded men that they could turn to at that point. They don't have one-on-one coaching where they could get onto a coaching call and have a pep talk and get their mindset reframed and get put back into a positive direction. Most guys, if they get rejected by women or they get broken up with or they had some sort of bad interaction with a girl, it destroys them. And in fact, that's why most of us, myself included, that's why we're naturally unconfident with women, because something happened in our upbringing or with one of our past dating experiences where we had a bad reaction, and that really affected our identity and our ego. And that's why you have limiting beliefs to begin with. Now, thankfully, this story doesn't end bad, although that did happen to him, which, by the way, it is part of the game. It is part of the process. You're never going to go through this process and not have at least one rejection or one bad interaction. And that's what some of these other gurus kind of lie to you about. Like, that's bullshit. I've gotten rejected a lot in my journey, but that's how you build your confidence and actually learn the skill set. And so as this story goes on, as you can see, fortunately for Matt, not only did the community have his back, but as you can see, some of the other brothers and even some of the coaches, they gave their insights too. And Matt's ultimate response to this was, brothers, your words of support are invaluable. But not only that, also, later on in the week, Matt jumped onto a one-on-one coaching call with me, and I want to share with you guys the insights that I gave him to ultimately get him to bounce back from this and still get success.
Look, bro, like, just because you had one bad interaction doesn't mean that suddenly you're just not going to have success with this. Like, if I look at the numbers, we've been making a progression. It's just you had this one weird interaction and that's starting to like mess up your head. The same thing happens in my business, bro. If I had a bad day or a bad week or I get bad responses from my audience, does that mean I'm not a good coach, I'm not a good creator, and I can't do this anymore? Fuck no. It's just a matter of getting back out there and doing this, right? So we just got to shake it off. We get back on the horse and we're good to go, man. And bro, I promise you, the next time you have a good interaction with an attractive girl, it's like this past one, you just forget all about it, right? You're only as good as how your last session was. Anytime you do get a bad response, it has nothing to do with you as a person. You keep moving forward. And as you overcome these situations, like this one in particular, the moment you overcome this, you actually build resilience. You build your mindset, you become stronger, and you'll become more grounded and more stable through the progression. That's exactly what's happened in my own journey. And that's why I feel so confident too, because dude, there have been worse situations like this that I have overcome, and I continuously show myself, no matter what the world kind of throws at me, as long as I don't quit and I can consistently take the actions, I'll overcome it and I'll inevitably get success. And that's exactly what we're going to do with you as well, bro.
Yeah. And this is me after doing this for over 10 years. I still to this day get rejected. And what I told him at that point was, I said, look, man, that's not the reason that you're not having success this week. That's not the reason you're in this funk. The problem is that you had that bad reaction, and now that's preventing you from getting back out there and just taking the actions that are needed to still have success. And not to get too personal, but I even pulled up my own KPIs within my business, and I showed him how many leads I get, how many conversations my sales team has. I showed him all of the different metrics, and I told him, I said, dude, if I have a bad week, I don't beat myself up over it. It doesn't mean that I suck. It doesn't mean I'm not gonna do good at this thing. I'm just looking at the numbers. And if I were to look at your numbers right now, Matt, honestly, in the last week, that reaction has stopped you from getting back out there and taking more action. It's not that you're bad at this. It's not that women aren't attracted to you. It's simply a matter of just having the right mindset and taking the next couple of steps. And that's exactly why I chose this clip of Infield to show you guys, because after that first interaction ends, I didn't just call it a day right there because I had a success. Immediately after that interaction ended, I went up to the next woman that I saw there was an opportunity to keep taking more action. And guess what happened? I went up to that next girl. You could see the camera doesn't stop from one interaction to the next. And the girl literally tells me, I have a boyfriend. I'm sorry, I have a boyfriend. I got rejected. I got the I have a boyfriend, and the interaction ended very quickly. Now, again, I could have just ended it right there, or I made the decision to keep going. So as you can see that the camera keeps rolling, and I go from one interaction to the next one to getting a rejection, and then I go right into the third interaction, which ironically ends up being the best interaction out of the three. I end up actually sitting down with this girl, having over a 10-minute interaction. Her friends end up coming back from shopping, and then I hang out with all of them. I end up getting a phone number and setting up a date with that third one as well. And so that's really what I showed Matt, and what I wanted a lot of you men to start understanding is that any one interaction, any one bad day, any one even bad week doesn't really mean anything in the grand scheme of things, as long as you have some sort of structure and you can stay consistent and stay positive with your mindset through this process. And so that's how I ended the call with him. I ended it on a very motivational note, gave him the pep talk he needed, reframed his mindset, set up a structured game plan over the next week, and we booked out more calls to get him back out there to start taking action. And guess what happened? Literally 2 hours after our call ended, like literally the moment it ended, I think he was feeling so motivated, he just decided to go out on his own. And I got this text message from Matt a little bit less than 2 hours later. Kyle, one long interaction and number close at Wegmans just hours after our call. The funk is officially over, right? And then I messaged him back and said, bro, you're the GOAT. I said, welcome back, let's go. And he then proceeds to tell me, more attractive than any of the other 2 dates I've been on. Very natural date ideas around getting Indian food surfaced during the conversation, extended the convo, got the number exchange, hug goodbye, everything you've been preaching. He then also posted this into the community chat as well, sharing his wins with the group. And also guys, just to show you that this is legit, I did change his name just for confidentiality, but this is our legitimate text conversation that we had starting on March 2nd when he initially was coming into the program to book out his consultation call, which led to the onboarding, which led to the last 4 weeks of progression, which ultimately got him onto 3 dates so far inside of the program. Now, Matt was able to land his 3rd date because he's had that accountability. He had a very tailored structure to his day-to-day. He had the push live out in the field, and he had the coaching when he needed to reprogram his mindset and get him back on track. So if you want more details about this entire structure, the roadmaps I've been showing you, or more about the process I teach, but also more importantly, how I could help you make a transformation in your own life. If you want to increase your social confidence and achieve your dream dating life, click the link down below, check out the full in-depth training I put together. I break down all of this and a lot more in a very detailed video. The link is in the description, and there's also an application there if you want to apply to work with me directly. Check out that video right now, guys. That's all for this one. Peace out.